begin. I spent 4 hours in this thing apparently. That is probably 2 episodes. Meaning this would be the 3rd one, I think. Okay, checking YouTube. I changed the encoder thing, whatever that means. So it should work now. Alright. Audio settings. Everything else is fine. Now I think I was saving up money to buy I already passed it. No, I didn't. There it is. Sewing machine. I was saving up to buy either the Super or the Grimmer, the large potato planter. Any one of these. Well, not the Super. The Amazon one. EDX 6000. Super is not necessary right now. And in order to do that, I bought this thing. Which I kind of had a dream that I sold this thing and got a telehandler instead. Which is a lot more expensive. But not such a bad idea. Could also borrow money, apparently. That does give me enough. Buy the EDX. And check my map. I have not planted anything yet. And it's 10:54 in the morning. I should get that done. I'll do that. I'll get the Super. Not Super, the EX. None of them. Oh, it's 58,000. Oh. Okay. And I have... Wait, what was that? I found one horseshoe. Cows. Got 3 cows. Just fed them some grass. And 301 chickens. There's 4 eggs available. I'll leave the planter here. It's a little bit in the shade. Now I don't have many vehicles that I know of. I got this little one, the workhorse tractor. Alright, the next mission is way over there. I should reset just to travel there faster. Not waste as much time traveling. Pick it up. There we go. Now I'm pretty sure you're supposed to travel with forks, holding them up and then pointing downward. That way it doesn't stab anything. But this seems more dangerous. If I point them upwards. I mean, the points are away from, like, in front of me. It's a bit too high up, though. If something lands on me, they're screwed. The best I could do. Turn on the beacon lights. Anyway, I'm not sure what happened today. I woke up a little sniffly. Hope I'm not getting sick, but it's not out of the question. I did go upstairs yesterday. My cousin was not working because he's sick. And I sat right next to him, so who knows. He gets weird responses to his pathogens. He doesn't normally get sick at all. But I'm guessing when he does, it's probably very contagious. Crap. Alright, let's go around the hills. She'll be coming around the mountain. She comes. Alright, I gotta get off of cruise control. Maybe the cab view will help a bit. I got lights for this too. Cool. Anyway, this thing got cut off last time I tried recording. Well, more accurately, got cut off while streaming, and then I switched to recording. I still have the footage. I haven't done anything as of right now. Right now, it's February 24th, 2023. It's 10:17 in the morning. Yeah, it's late. I'm supposed to do this stuff around like 2 in the morning. But I got sleepy around like 10 p.m., more or less. And I went to bed. Because it was a long day. It was a long day, kind of. I went to the store with my cousin to a place that's actually called G-Mart. It's like a comic book store. My cousin was looking for, I don't know, I think manga or something. Oh no, they were looking for the visual novel of something, but they only had the manga. I don't know what the difference is. Is the visual novel like more like a comic that's like colored in and stuff? The manga has to be black and white or something? I could type this up in Google, but I'm not going to. Anyway, speeding along the track at 20 miles an hour. Oh, 21. Daring today. It looks like I have to deliver this to town. It is a reward of 5,000. Oh man. That might mean I have to deliver it all the way over to the middle of the map. To the sheep. The spinnery. Stay on the road. I don't know what the beacon lights are for. Like in reality, what do you turn on the beacon lights for? At my dad's, one time at my dad's work, we had this electric, I think it's electric, or hydraulic lift type of thing. I think it's a scaffold. It's a platform that extends upwards, and you have like a controller thing at the top. And I'm not sure how it exerts force, how it creates force, but it lowers and it raises and lowers you. And you can move it forward and backwards. And I don't remember if this is the thing that makes noise, but if it is, if you move backwards at all, it makes an incredibly loud beeping noise. The typical beep, beep, beep. In that pattern that pierces through anything, more so than a trumpet does. So, whatever headphones you're wearing, whatever anything, if you're inside a different vehicle or whatever, you're gonna hear it. If you're outside the building, you can hear it. Designed that way for safety. So everybody knows, even if you're outside and nowhere near this thing, that this thing is moving backwards. And if you leave it in reverse, like the last movement you made with that machine is going backwards, it'll continue beeping, even after you stop moving. You have to nudge it forward a little bit in order for it to stop beeping. And some people didn't do that. So they just reversed it and then got off and went on with their business. And then one of us has to go in and drive it forward a tiny bit every time. There's no way to shut that off either, that I know of. Oh my god, this thing is so slow. I mean, I guess it gets the job done, but like barely. I'll be more productive if this thing was instead like a telehandler or something. Those, I think, move at 26 miles an hour. I would have been done with this by now, probably. And let's zoom in on the map a bit. The only way to get this across is to use this bridge. You could go through the river, but it's more risky to go through the river. The bridge isn't that big of a detour. Oh, there's a fence there, so you can't even use the river as a shortcut. It's articulated though, I think. So it kind of snakes around everything. And a turn. Alright, now I have enough money. The Amazon. Make sure I buy the right one. End up accidentally buying this one. The Cayenne. Alright, EDX. I have to wait until 11 in the morning, but finally there. Oh yeah. Bring it home. There it is. And turn. Reverse into it. Actually, the EDX might be too heavy for this one. Yeah, it's too heavy. I have to move slower, or get a different one. Get a different tractor for this. If I lower it, kind of helps a bit. Alright, where's my workhorse tractor? I'll get this one to do the job. You can stay here. And I'll use this to collect the chicken eggs. 1, 2, 3. There's one more here. 4. Okay. Here's my workhorse tractor. It should be a couple more seconds until I get another mission update. Or mission offer. Before that, I want to check something. Did I buy the mowers over here? No, I didn't. I guess I must have dreamed that I did. Anyway, here in the finances, it is in the other category. The money is going down. Because I'm buying seeds for this. I don't need to do a transport mission right now. Alright, so I have a seeder. I have all the planters I need except for the potato one. That's fine. The potato can be on the second harvest, I guess. Or on a different field. I want it to be in the long, narrow stretch. Alright, so first up I'm going to plant in corn. Let's start over here. Here. Maybe a nice turn. In fact, the same Argon, the tractor, is actually pretty good with the EDX thing I'm using right now. But it costs like $58,000 to buy it. So I'm not gonna do that. Not now. This is the field I already cultivated and plowed myself. It is not a new field. It just looks new. Yeah, my nose feels really stuffy. I'm not sure what I can do about that. Yeah, I know I don't own the field. Could also put down ridge markers. The ridge markers work by telling you where to align yourself the next time you turn. So you would eventually turn into it like that. And it lines up perfectly, more or less. There's a bit of a margin for error. Just a bit. Alright, I can do that mission. My mower have to move it over there. So today I slept in. Um, I went to bed pretty late. Woke up around like 5-ish, almost 5:30. Like, yeah, no, screw it. I'm not gonna run. I was going to, but I decided against it because it's really cold out there. It's not to the point where it's dangerous, but it is risky. Like, there could be some danger to it, and I'd rather not risk it. It's not worth it. I could just go running again, or like for a longer time when it's not dangerous. I don't have to go on a day that could pose a threat to my health, like to my lungs and stuff. I don't think it is icy or snowy out there though. That's good. We have to go to the store today. Well, either we're gonna go walking or I'm gonna take the scooter over there. And also, apparently, it's almost voting day for the Chicago mayoral election. I'm not sure who to choose. The guy I kind of liked at the beginning was J. Maul Green, except, oh, it was because I forget what the exact policy idea was, but he had an idea to like change the way that people pay for the yellow boot that they put on their car, and also other stuff. Like if you have to pay a ticket, you have more days to do so. Something wealthy people should pay it first or more, or I don't know. And I told my dad about it at the time, and he seemed to like it. And everything else seemed kind of okay, so I was gonna go with him. But in one of the talks they have, the forums or debate or whatever, um, there was a question of like, are you gonna raise taxes on like giant companies? And he was like, no, we can't tax them out of the city. I don't like that answer, buddy. So I don't know who to choose anymore. I talked to this. I talked about this to my cousin yesterday while we were walking to the comic store, and she said, well, she might choose the other guy, Paul Vallis. Like, why him? Because he's, well, in my opinion, from what I saw on TV, people were talking about how he's like kind of Republican, and in Chicago that's kind of rare and not really a good thing either. But what do you call it? The reason is because he actually showed up at the place where they work. He showed up and like was actually looking for stuff to buy, and apparently was like nice and friendly and stuff. Like, well, that does make a big difference in the minds of people voting. The likelihood that they vote for you. If you go, especially like back in the day, like a couple years ago, grassroots organizers, meaning people who are not funded by giant companies basically. They're funded through donations of a couple dollars a time uh, from regular working Americans. Crap, I have a decision to make here. I'll make corn all the way over here. It's easier to harvest over here. Anyway, yeah, if you go up to people, like up close and personal, and meet them where they work and stuff, and go to like their houses, like knock on their doors, yeah, they're more likely to vote for you, because it looks like you actually care, and you're taking the time to come to them and listen to them. It's a good strategy, I suppose. It does take a while to do, And people like Bernie have done it too. So if he does do something like that, I don't know why he doesn't emphasize something like that. I think this guy was like in charge of the schools, the teachers or whatever. From what I remember in school, the teachers would go on strike a whole lot. And they'd have to explain to us what strike means because we were kind of young. Like, oh, so how does that work? Well, I don't know. But we're not going to be working, and we're going to ask for like more money and stuff. Oh, do you guys not make enough money? Well, it's okay. But remember, we're only here for like 6 hours a day or 8 hours a day, I don't know. And you can't exactly do anything during the summer. Oh yeah, that's right. The whole thing is slightly complicated. Better to explain it if I have all the details correct. Anyway, the current mayor right now in Chicago is a lady called Lady Lightfoot. Or what? Lori Lightfoot, not Lady Lightfoot. That'd be funny. And I guess there's criticisms about her and stuff. I don't know. But the other guy is Chewy Garcia. His name's Jesus. Ah, crap. I was trying to what's it called? What's the opposite of reattaching? Detach. There we go. I was trying to detach this thing, and I pressed A twice, and I accidentally accepted the mission. Well, here we go, I guess. Transport mission for 3,000. It should be pretty close by. I might take this down to the spinnery, or maybe, what is this? Suitcases. Maybe I'll take this to like the campground or something. It's 3,000, that's a bit far for 3,000. Maybe I'll take this to the town. Kind of already is in town. Yeah, I'm gonna bet that this thing needs to be delivered to town. Ooh, there goes the wrist. Oh yeah, I went to the library too, yesterday. I got a book on knitting, like how to knit. I saw a video on how to do it. I don't have any knitting needles, but I do have bamboo skewers. Because apparently we have like a bag full of them. I don't know why we bought them, but it was years ago. Probably to like use it to eat corn or something. Damn. Alright, pick it up. Oh, come on. You know what? It's kind of in there. So I'll just go with this. I gotta take it to the docks. No, the port. What the hell is this thing called? The port that's on like the ocean. On the shoreline. This thing is gonna fall. And it's hanging on for dear life. There we go. The cars will run into it if I'm not careful. They do push it away. And no, I cannot use that to my advantage, I think. Okay. I always considered buying a racing wheel. Like a controller that is a wheel for cars. Just to play Farming Simulator. Problem is, I don't have a chair. for playing this thing. So I can't like sit and use the pedals correctly and everything. I am on my bed. I'm lucky to have this room. This much room. Alright, I made the mistake of using the right trigger to accelerate. I gotta go to the island. Okay. This thing is not the most stable on there. But it is on there. Looks like it's kind of stuck on there. I'm gonna try not to wiggle it around too much. But I also wanted to play Sacred, actually. I wanted to play as the Inquisitor. Ah, crap. Problem is, I wanted to make the Inquisitor have a polearm instead of hafted weapons. But I already made him have hafted weapons. So it would be a waste to make him have polearms too. The only benefit would be to have a shield with the hafted weapons. That way I have a very offensive weapon choice. The hafted, no, the polearms. They do more damage overall. They are slower. And then I would have a more defensive approach with the hammer and the shield. Problem is, Inquisitor cannot use shields at all. So this spot's done. I want to save this section for potatoes, which means I need to have potatoes, and I don't. I could also save it for sugar beet. That's what it's called, right? Yeah, sugar beet. In the meantime, I'm gonna go to the next plot of land. Every hour is a risk that I'll get a great demand, and the price for a commodity will go skyrocketing. And I don't have any. I literally don't have any crops except for wheat, and that was here when I got here. Okay, all I did was harvest it. Did not work for it much. Alright, it's 10:39 in the morning. It's almost been half an hour here. Half an hour here. To the corn. There's some corn headers at the very least. All of this is extra land. Like all of this plowed area is extra land that was not originally in the field and made all of this. Maybe I should head over to what map is, what numbers are those? 37, 38, 39, the bottom left corner. It's a big empty field with two, or it's more like three medium-sized fields all put together. Oh, wait, no. I'm thinking at the wrong side. 10, 11, and 12 in the middle left side of the map. There's a lot of grass there. There's also some at the sheep place. That would be a good spot to do additional plowing for even more farmland. And I'll probably use up this whole thing with corn. It is a square field, more or less. And that's better. It's easier to deal with that when you have corn than when you have sugar beet or potatoes. Those are better suited to long stretches of land as opposed to square land. Okay. Anyway, um, we kind of live close by to the mayor's house right now. And the mayor's house always has at least one police car. And then it's like one regular car and like one undercover car or something. But they're both there, like all the time. If we ever need the cops or something for whatever reason, they're probably gonna show up closer or faster. I mean, they probably won't leave their post, but maybe? Who knows? So I guess, like, the way we're set up here, it's sort of beneficial to keep her as mayor. But I don't know. I'd have to like research each candidate and stuff. But anyway, the top three, according to whatever, is the Chewy guy, the Paul Vallis dude, and the Lightfoot lady. There it is. Looking for this one. So even if I were to kind of go for the Jamal Green guy, it doesn't look like he's gonna win. But the whole media thing is also very biased. If there's a progressive candidate that will tax the rich, for example, let's just go with like 80%. Screw you. We're gonna give it to the poor or whatever. Or even something more popular, like actual consumer rights and healthcare and whatever. It's not the best financially wise for the giant company that is, or giant companies that are the news. So it's not beneficial to actually give the real news that this person is planning on taxing us, basically, to give you helpful things. We'd rather not be taxed and not tell you that it's for your own good. So instead, we're just not going to talk about it. And instead talk about this other guy that is not planning on taxing big companies like me. And instead, he's talking about other things that are friendly and can fill up time until it's time for you to vote. And as long as you ignore the problems, no one knows about because they get their news from you. So because of something like this, it's pretty difficult to figure out what the actual policy is for these people. Like what's the difference? Like why would I choose to vote for you instead of the other one? What do you plan on doing? But when it comes to the Chicago one, the world's greatest newspaper, WGN, that's what it stands for. They're kind of actually okay when it comes to that sort of thing. Somehow, they're actually pretty good at describing or telling people what the policies are. And, I mean, they don't really disclose their financial stuff very much for the candidates. Like if they receive donations from some company or brand, well, maybe they're not gonna tax them as much. Or not as much, but like write rules that doesn't apply to them. As a favor, basically. And that information is kind of hard to figure out. There is organizations that do that sort of thing, called Open Secrets, I think is one of them. The user interface isn't the easiest to use, but you type in like whatever information you want to have. So like, I don't know, your district or precinct or whatever it's called. Or you just type in like a politician's name and they organize it for you so that you can just read what companies have donated to them, what brands have donated to them, and how much. Crap. That sort of thing. Anyway, this race looks to be like it's going to be pretty close. Also, the Chewy guy lives on the 26th Street, apparently, which is the Mexican community, basically. We go there frequently, I guess, to like go out and stuff. But apparently, I don't know, my dad doesn't like him. Probably thinks he's like a thief. But he says that about everybody. And then I'm like, well, in America, it's not really like a thief, like they stole the tax money. No, it's pretty stupid. They do it in a more subtle way that's legal. And that way you can't, they're not just gonna steal it in like bags of money and just run away with it. That's very obvious. In America, you don't have to do that sort of thing. You can just do it out in the open, but like legally. You can't break the law if the law doesn't prohibit that. It's not breaking the rules if it's not against the rules, basically. So instead of stealing money, you just kind of have them give it to you as a donation. And that's it. Easy as that, really. But he's obsessed with like the politics of Mexico. And I think it's so boring. He watches the same channel, or like the same YouTube channel, basically. The same couple of channels. And like, I don't think this is real, because they don't criticize at all. Like, the only thing this channel does is praise the Mexican president, which I get. He's a good guy. Cool. But everything is praise. Like, there's not a single bad thing he's done ever. Really? Not one thing that he hasn't done, like, he could do better on. Every single thing is perfect. And it's a little suspicious. Suspicious because that's the type of behavior that, if it were to happen in America, it would be because they are like servants to them. And they don't want to say anything bad about them and stuff. So kind of jokingly, I'd call this guy the Emperor, because you can't disrespect him or something. And everything he does is awesome. But the thing that really annoys me is that he talks so slow. And like, not just talk slow, he has enormous pauses in the middle of a sentence and then continues to finish the sentence. So there's like 5 seconds of him just thinking. And then the word he comes up with isn't even that like complicated, really. It's more like, let's see. Today, we have decided to order a bagel. Like, oh my god, man. Please, make it stop. We're the only ones that have to deal with this. My dad puts it on, but he doesn't deal with it. He goes to sleep. Like, man, you made me, like, you made me exit my YouTube video that I was watching to play this. And then you're not even gonna watch it. Unfair. Just unfair. We got 4 more eggs around here. Here's one. Another one. I had a dream today that I was in a house, kind of like upstairs, but everything was pretty bad. And there was a giant swarm of insects. I think it was just ants, actually. Okay, all that's done. Yeah. I kind of just need to have the potato planter now. It costs around 33,000, I think. Yeah, 33,970. So around 34,000. Okay, in the meantime, I have my mower here. Let's go to the top left corner. See if I don't get a mission along the way. Oh yeah, I need to buy a front loader too. Not a front loader, a loading wagon. To actually get some silage around here. Maybe I should buy another mower. Cause I'm gonna move this guy away from everything. Hang on. Stay here. Let's see, mowers. I could buy really cheap ones over here. I'll go for it. I already saved it anyway. So then just move my tractor over there. Okay. If I wanted to risk it, I could attach the little mowers to my tractor, the one that does the missions, and attach the big ones to this one. But that's really being risky about it. What that does is increases my capacity. Well, I have 2 options. I got little mowers and I got a big mower. If I attach the little ones, like this, to, well, I also have 2 tractors. This one that is going to be doing non-mission work, so I get no money from this. And the other one that does mission work. If I attach the big mowers to this guy, that does not do any mission work, then I'll get my nonsense done out of the way. The risk is, if I do get a mowing mission, which means I'll get money for it, the faster I do it, I will do it slower. But if I get a ton of missions, then this guy's actually worth it. Doing it this way. Like that. The golf course care. I think I will drive... Crap. No. I gotta move this guy. I don't know why it's neatly folded like that. Oh yeah, I did that. I was running. I was transporting. Okay, bump it out of the way. Attach. Let's go. Another set of mowers like this would be beneficial. A lot beneficial. But I can't afford them. It's faster just to go this way instead of going up. I might be making the wrong decisions right now. The two little mowers I bought are kind of slow because it only mows a little area and you're forced to move at speed 2. So it feels like you're doing very little. The thing is you have to do like 2 or 3 passes to fully be done with your job. And during that time, it might take 10 minutes or something, which is a long time. But that is 5 chances to get a mowing mission, and that would give you more money. And the more money you get, the faster you can buy an actual large loading wagon. And then you can use the loading wagon to collect any of the grass I cut up. I mean, it's better than not doing any mowing at all. The other alternative is to have this guy be my one and only mowing machine and just traveling all over the place. Getting the work done quickly, yeah, but I'm not near any mowing sites when the mission does show up. I'd have to travel all the way back to the mission site and then all the way back to where I was cutting grass and where I got interrupted. Automatically slows down because the front mower is on the ground and that thing limits your speed. Turning. Should be done in 3, 2, 1. Yeah. Alright, I'll give this a shot. Let's see how this goes. This thing only cost me about 1,000 each, I think. This is way too high. Oh, well, 2,000 each. Yeah, it's up there in like real money. But it does get the job done. Like, it doesn't matter what you use to cut the grass anyway. Yeah, I could have used the profit hopper. So that thing is really, really slow. It does have its own capacity. It's just pretty useless. Because it's like 1,000 liters. The frickin' silage thing needs like 100,000. Can't be 100,000. More like, I forget actually. I just cut everything here, leaving a strip behind me where the wheels are. And then when I do a second pass, I will put the blade where the empty spot in my tractor is, right down the middle. So along that strip. This side's a little tricky because there's no grass over there on the left. So you have to like maneuver around it. You just gotta go where the grass is. You don't have to follow the lines on the ground. If the grass moves over to the left or to the right, go with it. Follow the green. No missions. Okay, I should be able to do, let's see, another mission like the last one. It's about 3,000 each, 2,960 or something, as a reward. That'll give me up to 30,000, more or less. And the bonus of the same amount would be another 30,000, or 3,000, I mean. That should almost give me enough to buy the potatoes. The potato planter. And then I'd be done. Then all I would need is a little bit extra money to buy potato seeds. Like $1,000. Or whatever currency this is. Because it is Europe and God knows what they use. And then it would just be straight saving all the way up to 119,000. All the way there. To buy the loading wagon. In the meantime, I will spend a lot of time doing this. Just mowing things down. Seems relatively dangerous. Like this is at the right height to like cut someone's leg off. I just thought of something. So there is a type of mindset when it comes to like cars, like owning a car and stuff. Like the truck people who buy they live in the city. First of all, they live like in the city, like here in Chicago, except they're like in the suburb area, which is not rural at all. I mean, it's closer to rural than I am. That's for sure. But they're not rural. Rural. They're not in the country. They're in the suburb. The suburb is heavily subsidized by the city. And it's basically a lot of empty land that's not really used. It's just kind of there. And it has a property owner. Most of the time the property owner doesn't do anything with it though. So when you have that scenario, like over and over, you end up with urban sprawl, which is a lot of empty space that has ownership, and the ownership doesn't do anything. So now it's just empty space. And other people that would like to do something on there, like build a community garden or something, cannot, because that space is unavailable. It's private property now. So you can't like plant anything or set up shop there or anything really without the owner's permission. I was wondering if this thing has lights. It does. Right there. Anyway, you got these people with the mindset that driving a truck is like tough and manly, especially with like the commercials. But I don't think so. First of all, the truck shields you from elements, as opposed to like, I don't know, a motorcycle, or even like a scooter, like the little electric ones. Not the little ones, like the ones that you sit down on. Or even like riding a bike. You're exposed to the weather with those vehicles. You're not exposed to the weather in a truck. And also the flatbed, or the bed of the truck, where you put stuff in. I don't know, it depends what size and length it is. But like there are some that are pretty short because the cabin is like enormous. So the spot where you actually like sit in has lots of room, but the spot where you put stuff in does not. Okay, I can almost buy the potatoes now. So because the spot that you're using as utility, like the spot in the back, is kind of short, you can't really use it for anything useful. And the hood of the car is so long due to the engine size. You know, I don't know what other stuff is in there in the front of the car other than the engine. But it takes up so much space that you can't see. So like there's like even like 6-foot tall people. You can like kind of see the top of their head. Anybody under that is invisible. And there's varying levels of like vulnerable people at that height. There's people in wheelchairs. There's kids. There's other random adults. And they're all invisible because the seat is really high up and the hood is really long and you can't see the ground anymore, basically. This is a very dangerous concept. But the commercials have it as like, well, it's supposed to be that way so it doesn't get stuck in mud. Oh, it'll get stuck. It definitely gets stuck in mud. That thing is really heavy. That thing is really heavy and the tires are not made for it. Plus, where the hell are you going to find mud? Like, especially around here, it makes no sense to have commercials for cars like this. Oh, they're not really cars, they're more trucks. Where are you going to find a mud trail? Downtown. I mean, there's a river, but you're not supposed to go in the river anyway. It's kind of toxic, actually. Like, it's actually dangerous to go in. It's not really a use for these types of things. But as I was looking at the tractor here, I was thinking, a tractor is way more like efficient than one of these trucks. Like I could show it off in the Farming Simulator 15, which I might switch to now actually. In Farming Simulator 15, you can do logging. You can cut down trees with a chainsaw or a vehicle or whatever. Cut them into pieces, transport them. And to haul the transport of them, you have like 3 different options as a trailer. You get the really long one, the timber runner. That one holds, I think, like 10 or 15 meters or something. There's the little one. The little one is like cost effective because you can haul it with any tractor basically. And it has like feet that like go on the ground to support it. And it has its own like arm with a chainsaw attached to it or something. And you can use that to cut down the tree and to grab it. Or I think it's just to grab onto it. It doesn't have a cutting thing. It just grabs on. Anyway, you can use that to load it onto itself, onto its own trailer. It's all small and compact, designed to like be used with a tractor. The timber runner is designed to use a dolly. Or, well, yeah, kinda. It's designed to attach to the back of a truck, like an actual truck. And if you don't want to buy a truck for it, you could also just buy a dolly to adapt the backside of your tractor to the trailer. It's an adapter. And that way you can attach both points and just use your tractor to drive it. Because it has enough power. And you already own it. You could also use it to attach it to your truck. Because you can buy a truck in the game with a flatbed. And that one's actually useful because you're actually a farmer and carrying pallets of like wool or tree saplings and stuff. But even then, it's only useful to transport things really quickly. That's what the description of the car is in the game. Cars are used to transport you quickly from point A to point B. You're not supposed to work with it. You could, but it's really slow. And that's ironic since that car is the fastest thing in the game. It goes 51 miles an hour. But I'm thinking about like viewing ability. Like in the cab, it's kind of hard to see. But if you were sitting in this thing in real life, you would be able to see a lot better. Just because that's how eyes work. You have more range when you use your actual eyes than when you use a screen. So yeah, you'll be able to see pretty well. Plus, all around you is glass. Like you could see in front of you, to the sides, all the way behind and everything. It's like a glass box that you drive. This would be a really good design for a moving vehicle like a car. For the people that want to have trucks as work vehicles. Why not just have a tractor? Because it has more power, it has more attachments. It's a single person thing, I guess. And like, it's already designed for work. I'm not sure how well a tractor would be for work though. For it depends on what kind of work. Why not, like if a tractor is made for farming, why not have that type of thing, but for like other jobs? Which kind of does exist. Like for example, plumbers and electricians and stuff can have like vans, like white vans. You could even put your logo on it if you're self-employed or whatever. And you can carry everything you need. It's more efficient that way. You can carry more stuff, and it probably has good fuel economy. It's better than like a bike if you're a plumber. I do think tractors go really slow though. I'm not sure why. I think it's just because you're never really gonna use them quickly. But it's like my question of like, why do cars, like every car has like the ability to like go 100 miles an hour? But why though? Like I think it goes up to like 120 or something. But why? Like how often is that necessary? Not around here, but I think on the south or west side, um, on the street called Halstead, there supposedly there's a lot of drag racing going on the weekends or something. And that's possible because the cars can accelerate up to 120 miles an hour in a couple seconds. And then some poor schmuck that's obeying the rules and everything happens to cross the street or is driving their car waiting for the light to change and they get rammed into and dead. Hello. Because the car is capable of doing that. There is that old saying, I think. Or maybe it's not an old saying, but I remember one farmer saying it. I can solve all the world's problems from the back of a tractor. I guess. Being in a tractor, get a lot of time to think. It depends what you're doing. Sometimes you have to pay attention. Other times you can just hang out. A little bit, yeah. Oh, hang on. I gotta reposition this thing. My computer. Ooh, boy. It's been an hour and I've been sitting in the same position. My hip is starting to hurt a bit. And I can't read the chat from that direction, so I moved it right next to me. So now I have full view of the screen for the chat and stuff, and my TV. I've been here for an hour already. It's 11:18 in the morning. It's kind of strange that the house is kind of quiet, actually. But for most reasons, like in Farming Simulator, they spend a long time. Well, I don't know why. I don't know how to change that either. So I'll go into the settings after this, I guess. That's the gameplay scene. Maybe it's in the stream info. Category. No. Oh, here we go. Let viewers know your stream was previously recorded. There. I figured out how to disable it. Cool. That wasn't that difficult. Anyway, if in Farming Simulator they spend a long time making this thing, like the map, the world and everything. It's like you can spend time just walking around, appreciating the graphics and stuff. Well, you should probably have good graphics, but yeah. That's the thing that got my attention when I first got this game. I got this game through the Xbox Live Gold, free game stuff that happens every month. And okay, cool, Farming Simulator. I've heard about it, haven't played it yet. And then months passed, and well, I'll give it a shot. And I played it on this map, I think. The first thing I figured out how to do was use the harvester. I gotta speed up. Anyway, I liked the game. And the thing that stood out to me was the graphics. How, for the 360, they're pretty good. And there's really low loading times. The loading is so fast for this amount of graphics. And I'm guessing, I can only guess what kind of coding techniques they use. So they probably do use culling. Culling is the thing where if you don't see it, it disappears from the game, basically. So whatever's in your vision, that's the thing you can see. Or that's the thing that's written into the game. And it's also it's kind of a small map, I guess. So that helps. It also helps that it's not auto-generated. Yeah. So everything is in a fixed point. What else was it? I can kind of see how this game was put together. I can guess. I don't know. But whatever work was done here, great job. I can do the potatoes now. Gotta remember that. I gotta buy them first. Alright, I need a tractor to move over there. Maybe the little green one can do it. I got eggs are piling up. I better pick these up. I missed one here. Right, none in the corner. Okay. Keep it moving. Just running around all over the place. One more egg I'm missing. Where could it be? No idea. Is it on the roof? Sometimes they're on the roof. Oh, nowhere to be found. Oh well. Maybe it's just me, or the sounds have gotten louder. Maybe because I'm a little closer to the TV, but still. Alright. I don't have any potatoes in storage, so you can't use that as free potatoes for seeds. I gotta buy them. These things are expensive. I probably only need 1,000 liters. See if I can stop it at the right time. Whoa. I messed up on the controls, but there, I got it. 1,000 liters, that might be not enough actually. Too many passes this is. Come on. I forgot what tractor this is actually. This is the Kramer, of course. Obviously, what else would it be? Alright, Kramer. Let's go. I already used up like 2% of the amount I had. I might not have enough potatoes. Oh well. See if I can at least make it to the end over here. Yeah, maximum speed limit appears to be 12 miles an hour. Alright, I can probably do that with the trigger. Let's get into position. And hold down the button. Speed up a little bit. There we go. As fast as I can possibly hold it. A little more. Give it some gas. In the name of air pollution. There we go. There is a couple spots here and there that need plowing, but that's fine for now. Okay, I'm gonna drag this guy over. Did I have potatoes left over? I didn't check. I'm not in position. Turn into it. I have 42 potatoes left. Wow. 1%. Alright, I'm gonna put this behind my storage. And go back to cutting grass. Whoops. Back out, straight line, then go in. Put this down like that. And turn into it over here, like so. Now back to cutting grass. So now I have everything I need. Huh? Did the microphone change? What happened? Did I like unplug the microphone? Oh crap. I'm driving all crooked. Yeah, I shouldn't be driving while I'm like not looking at it. Check OBS for a second. Capture device is recording audio. Microphone's active. Okay. Everything's fine. Everything is fine. Just gotta drive in a straight line. God damn it, man. Hold still. Alright, anyway. Everything I needed to spend money on is done. Now I just need to spend or save up to get a loading wagon. A good one. That cost $119,000. Oh, I need to buy a fertilizer spreader too. What's going on? Where's my phone? The damage report. Markiplier. Scary chicken. Yeah. Senator Durbin is in Chicago discussing the cost of prescription medications and the shortage of health workers. Well, should have paid them more. I think I hear a plane outside. It's either that or a car. I really hope that's not the wind. Sometimes the wind howls. And it's getting a little bit more aggressive now. Kinda really hope it's not the wind. 'Cause I gotta go outside today. My parents can't handle the too strong of a wind. It feels like they suffocate. I get that feeling too, but it's not as bad for me. So, if anyone has to go out when it's windy, it's gonna be me. That's fine. I enjoy it. I miss the winter sometimes. But Chicago winters are, oh man, there's something. Especially if you live by the lake. Oh boy. And you got insane people. Like, going for a run, exercising out there. By the lake. Like Lakeshore Drive. Just going for a jog. In what feels like negative 20 weather. With the wind chill included. It is not worth it, man. It's funny though. Sometimes I do, like stuff that I do, um, secretly I kind of think of like, well, maybe it's like helpful, like it's beneficial to do this thing. That can be kind of annoying. Like maybe it's training basically. Like I used to walk home from school farther than I have to. I had to take the bus because school was like 4 miles away. And you had to get there on time. 4 miles is not that long. But when you had to get there in like half an hour, yeah, best to take the bus. Anyway, on the way home, I took two buses. On the way home, I walked about a mile, I guess. It's like, I don't know, 10 blocks or something. It used to be, because now I live somewhere else. But it used to be kind of close, only like around 10 blocks. I can walk it, it's fine. So I did. Hello. So I did walk that distance more or less every day, except the weekends, of course, because it was school. And it snows sometimes in Chicago. So what I've always had to deal with is walking like in the snow, in whatever weather, to get to school quickly. So I've had lots of experience trying to walk somewhere when everything else is uncomfortable. And I never thought anything of it. Like, okay, that's life in the big city. Deal with it. And then once, finally, all of that experience, all that training was actually useful. That time I was at the airport in a goddamn, like, it was a total of like 20 hours or 22 hours flight travel. So one flight was like 14 hours or something. And I don't know why. I didn't do anything. I was just sitting. But my legs were incredibly tired. Something about sitting on that seat in the plane, I guess, tires you out. Maybe it's the fact that you're not moving for about 14 hours. I didn't even sleep throughout the whole thing either. And in fact, I think I'm going to do it again later this year. But that's a whole different story. I was uncomfortable. Everything hurt. Everything was down the drain. But I had to keep going. And more importantly, I was late because there's a debacle at the airport. Not this one, not the O'Hare International Airport. That one actually worked out pretty fine. There was a debacle at the airports where I had to be. Like I landed somewhere in Germany, which ironically, or fittingly, coincidentally, is where this map is located, I think. Hagenstedt, the map of this game. I think it's in German. It's supposed to mean like enclosed settlement or something. Which I guess makes sense since around this map is like mountains. And yeah, you're a settlement. But anyway, the German place was cool. It was fun. I've never been anywhere outside of America and Mexico. Even so, I am one of the most traveled people in my entire family. No one leaves except me. And oh boy, did I leave. I went far, man. Germany's nothing. I went to the ends of the earth. I went a third of the planet's surface away. From my starting point, I traveled a third of the planet's surface away, basically. Cool. But that's the thing. That's the thing I don't fully understand about Europe. When I was up there on the plane, I know how big America is. I know how big, like it's tiny compared to like Africa as a continent. Even if America is the entire continent almost. It is tiny compared to Africa, compared to Asia. And Europe is even smaller. I fundamentally lack the understanding. How can you have a tiny piece of land, like for example the UK? It's a small like island thing. And you're gonna divide that small land even more so into different, like what we would call states, into provinces and whatever. Why? It's already small. Why do you need to create smaller areas and then have like different people in charge of those? And within those areas, like within a province, you have what? Counties, I guess? Neighborhoods? And then streets and everything? Like, you're minuscule at this point. How are you even a country? You could walk the distance from one point to the end point. That is not far. Like, you could get on a bike, and by the end of the day, you'll end up at the other side of the country. That's a tiny country. It amazes me how that thing can function. But apparently it can. Especially an island nation. Islands are notorious in that they are really dependent on outside things. And they also change a lot. Like in an ecosystem, when you have an island, you can have animals from the mainland, like normal animals. Like I think this happened a couple times in some island next to Africa. Like in between Africa and Asia. I don't know what island it was. But you would have animals from those places, so like elephants, for example. And they would end up on the island. It depends how. They could have swam there, they got stuck. Maybe they like rafted there. Like there was a flood or something and they got caught on a piece of wood that was floating and they landed on the island. Whatever. But they change over time due to the island's effects of not having any of your natural environment. So like a big animal, like an elephant, would shrink to accommodate the island lifestyle. And smaller animals like rodents, for example, would get really big to accommodate that there's no competition and stuff like that. That's all natural. Everyone knows this. I know this. You know this. The American people know it. Randy Gonzalez knows it. Everybody knows it. So the thing is, when it comes to people and civilization on islands, they don't adapt that way. I mean, they do. It's happened before. But now in the modern age, you can just have stuff delivered to the island through ships and planes and stuff. But in the past, that was really dangerous to do. And I don't know anything about specifically the UK's history. Basically anything. It was not taught in my little, like, 75% Hispanic Chicago school. It was not taught. We learned a lot about the American Civil War and I think a little bit of like the native population here in Chicago. Like Chicago was supposed to be pronounced Chicago, which according to the language or whatever meant like smelly onions. Because that's what they were farming here. And I know some history of this place and stuff like that. I don't know anything about Europe. Don't know anything about Africa or Asia. Just a tiny piece of land here. So I do not have reference to any other country that's smaller. In Mexico, it kind of makes sense. I mean, it's big enough that you can technically be a different state. Cool. I don't know what that means. What do you mean you're from Smelly Onion? Is that like a location? The name of a location? Anyway, in Mexico, yeah, there's technically different states, but they're close enough that you can drive there. And people do it all the time. So it's more like nothing that big of a deal. It's a little funny when you look at the big picture. Yeah, I know. I don't get the joke though, but okay. But, oh, I get it. It's like I'm saying from it. Yeah, I am from Smelly Onions. It took me a minute, but yeah, I get it. But yeah, you are correct. What do you call it? My parents' hometown is called Tuspan. And that place, I think, is supposed to be like land of the rabbits or something. I guess there was a bunch of rabbits around there. The whole perspective of like land use and stuff is funny and interesting. Mm-hmm. What do I need to buy? I need to buy the loading wagon. Apparently Paris has the same population as like Houston in Texas. Houston is enormous. And it's a lot of empty space. So there's a lot more density in Paris. Meaning it is possible to have a big population in a smaller area and still have it function correctly. Which is something that should be done in the United States. Because it's more efficient that way. You get more efficient use and transport of resources, making things cheaper most of the time. It's also not as bad for the environment, as well as making it convenient for everyday life, where you could just get up and get all of your like errands done in like half an hour, because all the stores and shops and services and stuff are like nearby. We kind of have that where I live, kind of. It's not very walkable, for sure, but you can do some things without a car. I don't have a license to drive. I passed the test and stuff, I just never went to go pick it up. Because they never told me when to go to pick it up. I did pass it though. But I'd rather not. I think I'd rather just walk there, scoot over there, or one day bike there. Depending on the driver, it's incredibly dangerous. And if you don't feel confident doing it, you really shouldn't be doing it. The thing is, that should be a choice. Like, that should be an actual option, not having to drive. Right now, it's not really an option, especially in America. You have to drive, no matter what. Be it that you're in a city and you don't really need to, or to get a job. A lot of them require a driver's license. And it doesn't really make sense, since you're not going to be driving anywhere, but they still require you to have a license. I kind of want to apply for one of these, that I know you don't have to drive for the job, but not having a license, I want to see what they say. Like, will they reject me because I don't have the license, even though I don't need it? Maybe I can figure out why they ask for it. I'm planning on leaving the country, though. This place is not the most beneficial. There's other locations in the world that have better stats that are important to me. The language might be a bit of a problem. That's kind of always been a problem for me, though. I can work through it. It's fine. Alright. Things are planted. Everything's fine. Just, what was that? Oh. I just gotta make more money. Alright, go into the edit thing. Edit the chat. Turn on this function here. There we go. Hour and 30 minutes. I'll continue for a bit longer. Probably until 2 hours and then call it off. Yeah, it should be around 12 something. 12:20-ish. In the midday. It's 11:50 right now. Still no mowing missions. Really? I could have been using the big mowers then. I would have made this a lot faster. A whole lot less passes. But that's the risk I took. Alright. Got to do another pass over there. That's fine. I don't really have to collect all this grass right now anyway. Yeah, I think I'll go for the big mowers instead. These are way too slow. And it's not that big of a difference, but it is a very noticeable difference. This is too far, I can't get both of them. Crap. So today's February 24th. Next month, January, February, March. It'll be March. I don't know when spring starts. I think in March. I forget the official date. Probably middle of spring is when I might get my seasonal job back. If not late spring. The likelihood increases the more time it gets closer to summer. If I do that and try to squeeze in a couple bit of overtime, should get a large amount of money, and maybe I can go into trade school after I set aside enough for the expenses I already have planned. Oh boy. The UAE, I think it's called. Or UOA, I don't remember. It's the Union Plumbers Association. UPA? Whatever the abbreviations are. See when they're accepting and see if I can buy myself into there. The other option would be going back to college, to the community college. Yeah, that's great and all, but like, I don't think it'll get me a job or something that I could use overseas. More of a long-term thing. Might go do that after I get sustainable income, or at least repetitive income. If things go really weird, I could even try to get some extra money by playing guitar. I have to practice a whole lot though. If I get good at it, maybe I could head out a couple places. I do have costumes. I have costumes I could wear. It might increase the chances of getting money. I don't like the idea of playing like live for money though. I rather create a music thing, be able to perform it, of course. But because I'll be doing everything by myself, it makes more sense for me to like record the different parts of the song myself, me playing everything, and then edit it together in the mix, basically, and put that out. Maybe to sell, but probably not. Probably just to like have it there. It'll technically be a part of like my games, my video games, but that's a much longer way off. I'll just have the soundtracks available, I guess. Might get some feedback on it, but I kind of doubt it. Still need to advance my education about that sort of thing. I'm getting there. Barely. And I need to make another bag for dice, since I made one, but I left it over there on the trip. I don't have one anymore. I didn't make one. I had one from a different situation. It was not meant for dice. It was made for like rocks or something. But I used it for dice and I left it over there. So now that I have more dice and I need to travel again, I don't have a bag for them. So I'm gonna make one. I could try to knit one, but it's a I'm a very much of a beginner when it comes to knitting. I can barely like begin it. I still gotta learn to do the purls and everything. But I'm better at crocheting than I am at knitting. So maybe I'll just crochet one quickly. And if I want to get fancy about it, I'll knit a better one. All here is a pouch anyway. If I were to make one out of crocheting, how would I make it? Should I start with a circle? Like a magic circle? I could sew it. I could make like a tube. And then sew like an end. Like sew one end of it so that it shuts down. Or I could make a magic circle and just kind of create a pouch that way. I got a couple bits of yarn. I think I got a lot of brown, a couple of black and white, like they go together with like grays in between. Maybe that'll work. A prettier color would be better though. I don't have anything like that. Nothing shiny. So maybe just brown. Like a dark brown. And finally, after 45 minutes, finally done with the grass on this side. Yeah. There we go. So the whole point of this is actually to go not here, but down from here, south of here, way over there. I'm supposed to fold these up so I don't like kill anybody. I don't see how the front one can cut grass. Kind of facing the wrong way. Some of the engines in this one, like the gigantic mowing machine, it basically sounds like a jet engine. Right here is where it's better suited to use this smaller mower. All it takes really is like 2 passes. It takes a 1 pass with the big mowing setup. But I don't have another one of those, so I'm using this. How much money would I get for selling the butcher? Probably around 20,000. I think it costs like 26. Here it is, 27. Yeah, I might get 20,000 for it. So I would have a total right now of 50. So that means I need to get a 90,000 in savings. That is quite a lot. Okay, another option would be to sell the front loader too. I don't really like it. It does get the job done. Very slowly though. I mean, I guess it gives me money. Like this mission should be pretty fast. It's only 1,000 in rewards. So I'm guessing I have to take, what is this? Lost luggage. I already did that mission, actually. There's another family that lost their luggage, or forgot their suitcases. I'm gonna guess I have to take their suitcases to town, which is why it's only at 1,200 for reward. If I were to sell this one, the Weidman, and buy like a telehandler, that would be faster, that would be better. But what would be the fastest would be the Docha farm, agro farm. What numbers is that? I don't know. That one is basically a tractor with a front loader attached to it. That one moves at 32 miles an hour. It is a speed demon compared to this thing. It costs like 136,000 or something. Alright, got them articulating frame. Getting stuck on the weirdest of things. Alright. Can snake my way around this, can I? There we go. And I am out. Get this off the ground. Line it up a little better than that. There we go. Crap, I moved it out of the box. Well, now the clock is ticking. Alright, get on there. I gotta move quickly. Go. Can't take the stairs. I mean, I guess I could try, but it's not gonna end well. Much safer just to go around here. And the goal should be right here. There it is. Here, take this. Great. Now I have... Oh crap. When it comes to chickens, 9 eggs waiting. And I have 19 in my backpack. I could come here to sell them. Let's figure out what the 9 eggs are. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I had one here already that I couldn't find. There it is. Nice. And a horseshoe. Huh. I thought I saw a stat somewhere that tells me how many horseshoes I got. Hey, there it is. Found horseshoes. 2. 1 since I started this session. I found that one by accident. Okay. It's almost time for me to go anyway. So I guess next time I'll just do as many missions as possible. Just do all of them. Hang on. This one's 26. I might get 20 for that. For selling the Weidman. I already mentioned that. The fast one is 132,000. Okay. And then the butcher also costs around the same amount, I think. Yeah, 27 for the butcher. And front loader is also like 26. Alright, so that's 40 in total. That would bring me up to 70,000. That's kind of good. Well, like 71,000. I could sell the attachment that I have, like this fork thing. That's about it, really. Yeah, that's not enough. Well, I have 3,000 here, 75,000. Put it there. If I sell all that stuff I don't need right now, get 71,000 in total. I gotta take this over there. Lost luggage. That's like the same transport mission 3 times in a row. Can't keep like jumping over things, so that slows me down. Again, in the name of air pollution. Look at the black smoke. I don't know why I remembered the reporter for WGN. Her name is, I think, Brenda or Grenda or something. Her last name is Tumulty. She has a very distinct accent, which I think is Irish. Like, I think last time she was talking about a fire. I forgot what she said. It was like, at 4:20, there was a fire, or the word fire always, it's commonly used to like distinguish accents. Like that one preacher dude in somewhere in the South in the US, was like, there's a fire that burns within them. A what? A fire. If his house catches on fire, everyone's dead. They won't be able to understand him. Quickly, everybody, get out of the house. There's a fire. What's fire? No, a fire. Oh. Oh, I heard the refrigerator door opening and door closing. It's go time. I'll see what the next mission is. If it's not a mowing one, I'll end it. Come on. Well, I'm gonna end it anyway. if it's a mowing one, I'll do it and then end it. If not, I'll just end it. $37,570. Technically more money than I had when I started. But I already spent like 33,000, 34,000 almost on a potato farmer, potato planter, and the EDX seeder for the corn. And that's like 58,000, so I probably earned, combining those two, almost 60 and almost 34. Almost 100, I guess. Also taking into consideration the amount of money I spent on the mowing things I have attached right now. That's 2,000 each. That's 4,000 plus the seeds. Probably another 1,000 each time, or 500 each time. I don't know. Nah, close to 1,000. Probably earned about 100,000 money, but I spent most of it on machinery.